Hey, beautiful soul, welcome to Dear Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Darling, nurse and energy facilitator, here to help you come home to yourself, one soul conversation at a time. This space is for the ones walking between worlds, the healers, the fillers, the women rediscovering their light after burnout or breakdowns. Together, we talk spirituality that's real, healing that is honest, and soul growth that meets you right where you are. So take a breath, pour yourself up some tea, and let's drop in because your spirit's been waiting for this conversation. Hey, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to Dear Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Darling, and it feels so amazing to finally be able to say those words after a 2 year hiatus. I can't even believe it has been that long since I sat down to record an episode, and I'm going to tell you a lot has transpired over the last 2 years, and in some upcoming episodes, we will sit down and talk about some of the lessons and experiences I have had. But today, I wanted to sit down and tell you guys about my awakening story or mini awakening, I want to call it that. How I got started in this type of work in the first place. Listening back to some of my older episodes, I did realize, hey, I never talked to you guys about that. So that's definitely the intention I want to set for today. So, how did I get started? For me, I think the questioning and wanting to know more about life started when I was a teenager. I did spend a lot of time alone in my bedroom listening to music, and I would think to myself, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? Um, and really, like, what is the meaning of life? Very odd to be thinking about when you're a child, but those were things I always asked myself, and I did a lot of the times feel like very weird or a oddball, out of place, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys have like ever as a youngin thought about things like that, but I definitely did all of the time. So fast forward when I was probably in my mid 20s, I ended up injuring myself at the gym on a rowing machine. So I went to urgent care. They gave me some painkillers and I never took them. I was actually scared to take the painkillers because, it always has the label like, do not take this medicine, while operating machinery and the hazard labels and stuff. So I just felt like, well, wow, that must be really strong. Maybe it's not a good idea to take it. So instead, one day I'm at work and I'm flipping through a magazine, and it was a health magazine, and they were talking about the benefits of yoga. And one of those benefits was it helps to relieve back pain. So I was just like, oh, that's really cool. At my gym, they did offer classes, and one of those was yoga. So I decided to take my first yoga class. And the teacher was super dope. And I'm still trying to find her till this day. I can't remember her name, but she taught at LA Fitness in Wisconsin, where I'm from. And she just had a very cool, calm, collective demeanor, very gentle. And my first yoga class, I remember just not knowing nothing about yoga. I remember my crazy self doing my first yoga class with sneakers on a mat. So that was pretty wild. So during this class, it went quite well, and at the end, we got into savasana. And I remember like almost falling asleep because my body was just so comfortable and at ease. And I never knew anything about calming the body down or relaxing, but I knew it felt really, really good. So that actually was the reason why I kept going back. I noticed my body was getting stronger, I was getting more flexible, my back pain hurt less and less. And I really, really loved how we got to lay down in Savasana at the end. So I kept going and going to these classes. And I remember thinking like, "Oh, maybe this is something I should try at home on my own because I love the meditation aspect so much." So I did just that. One day I decide to go into the bedroom in my home. At the time, me and my sister were living together and meditate. I had the lights off in my room. It was completely dark, and I began to meditate. And while I was meditating, I felt as if my body was levitating off of the ground. And I started to feel these sensations in my palms. I started to feel sensations on the top of my head. And that freaked me out. So I stopped. So then right after meditating, I was on Google trying to figure out like what was that I just experienced. And Google talked about chakras. So that was just a whole new world opened up for me. I'm like, okay, well, it seems harmless. So I continue to go to yoga and I continue to meditate outside of yoga class. So one day I was drifting off to sleep and I felt like this cool breeze go down the middle of my back. It felt as if somebody took some Vicks Vapor Rub and just slathered it all over the middle of my back. And once I woke up from sleeping, I Googled that and they were talking about Kundalini energy. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I'm experiencing. And then later on, I came to find out that the teacher, the style of yoga she actually taught was Kundalini yoga. So that was really a wonderful experience for me. And I continue to go to yoga, of course. And I began to have just some really odd dreams. Like I always had really odd dreams, but these were different. When me and my sister were living together, I never slept in my bedroom. Probably, you know what? I slept in my bedroom maybe 3 or 4 times out of the entire time we lived together because this room was not only little, but it was the coldest room in the house. And I don't know how that was even possible, but I just did not like my room. So I literally would pull my mattress out of my bedroom every night and pull it in onto the living room floor and sleep there. That's just what I did because I felt uncomfortable. So I'm like, you know what? To make me feel more comfortable with my room, I am going to repaint my room. So I repainted my room all over, made it feel more cozier, and I decided to sleep in my room. So I did that for 2 nights, and I just had some random dreams. I remember I had a dream that it was like I was though I was far away, and I was looking at a man standing under a tree, and he had like a couple people with him. It wasn't 12 people, but it was a couple people with him, probably 5 or 6 people. And automatically I knew that's Jesus Christ. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I noticed with him, he had a woman standing beside him. Like, I go to church pretty much like on Easter or something like that. And I knew or am familiar with, like, big Bible stories, David and Goliath, the three wise men, the popular Bible stories. But I knew enough to know that was Jesus, that was his disciples, and it was a woman with him. And she appeared to be a disciple as well, or he was teaching her as well. So I remember asking someone about this dream once I woke up, called and asked about, hey, I had this really weird dream, and there was a lady with Jesus. Who was this lady? And I remember the person telling me, oh, that's Mary Magdalene. And she said a couple things about Mary Magdalene that wasn't so kind. But now I have learned that story that they talk about Mary Magdalene isn't true at all. So I had that dream, and then I had another dream where the next day, where there was an angel walking towards me, giving me a scroll with a message on it. And before he gave me the scroll, I got scared and woke up. So I was just like, it's enough of that. I'm not sleeping in this room again because I was just having these really random dreams. And when you are in your beginning stages of awakening, sometimes, even if it's good, it can be quite scary. So after that, I think I got interested in like oracle card readings or whatever. I was still quite fearful of tarot cards, so I decided to get an oracle card reading. And I just thought, okay, it'll be gentler than tarot cards. So I got this reading, and I remember the lady telling me like, "Oh, there's a man that's connected to you, and he's always around you, and he's in the service." And I'm just like, I don't know who that guy is. So a couple days later, I'm talking on the phone to my cousin, and I told her like, yeah, I had my first oracle card reading. I think she called it an angel reading at the time. And she told me there's a guy around me that was in the service. And then my cousin explained to me that, yeah, that's our granddad. I didn't know much about him because he died when I was about 2. And my family is quite tight lipped about a lot of things, how the older generation is. So I thought that was really cool. Um, and then I started meditating more and more and really opening myself up to, uh, all those things. So I hope that wasn't all over the place. This was pretty much like a prequel, honey. Um, for me, I am a skeptic at heart, and I really believe that is why, for me, my awakening wasn't a one and done ordeal. It's something that has happened in cycles for me because I am someone who is still doing unconditioning when it comes to what organized religion has taught us. They say, hey, if you burn sage or you explore your chakra system or facilitate healings for others, or, oh, don't talk to your spiritual team because that is of the devil. That is stuff that I still work on undoing so that I can be not only more comfortable in my skin, but more authentic to myself. So for me, um, awakening happened multiple times in my life. And I just want you to know, if you are going through that phase of discovering more of yourself, just know that you are not alone. And there are many other people like myself who are going through the same things. So, in the next episode, I will talk more about more of my awakening and experiences, and actually my first um energy workshop, when I decided, okay, you know what, I do want to be an energy worker and all of that. So it is really, really good. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in to another Heart to Heart on Dear Spirit podcast. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a soul sister who might need to hear it too. And remember, you're not behind, you're becoming. Every breath, every boundary, every moment of stillness is part of your return to self. I'll talk to you soon, beautiful soul. Until then, stay grounded, stay open, and always dear to your spirit.